Namaskar. Today is 5th June, celebrated as World Environment Day, as mandated by United Nations. The reason behind it, the noble cause behind it, to make the people aware that this planet is to be made and maintained livable for all the beings, including humans. Other living beings are not contributing adversely to this environment and the planet, but we humans have contributed, are contributing, and likely to contribute very adversely this whole planet and environment to make it unlivable. And so, sustainable development is only the key aspect of human life and the present scenario of the world, which may foster this planet to make it livable. The triple bottom line, the society, environment, and economy are to be interlinked, interrelated for well-being of the whole planet. Before proceeding a little, I would like to just throw a light on the world population, how it is growing, and vis-a-vis the total forest reserve on the world, on the Earth planet. Just I am taking two datum lines, one 1800 years, and this is 2000, which is current century. In 1800, the total world population was around 1 billion, whereas the total population today is 8.3 billion, and per minute population is growing by 150 to 170. If you can see word clock. Not only that, this population growth is exploding with the range 0.9% annually. This is devastating because the population has to behave in such a way that this Earth planet may sustain the load what we are contributing to this planet Earth. So from this population demography, you can imagine how this world population is growing. Naturally, the burden of the population of the planet is going to increase day by day like anything, and that may be beyond that has gone beyond the capacity of the Earth and globe to sustain. Moreover, we have to live. Those who are coming on the world, they have to live. Let us have a look on the forest reserve on the globe. In 1800, this was 5.5 to 5.6 billion hectare, whereas this has reduced to 4.41 billion hectare today. The population was in 1800 1 billion, whereas forest reserve were 5.5 billion hectare. So the ratio of per capita forest reserve was coming 5.5 hectare per person. Now, if you compare the same ratio today, the total forest reserve is 4.41 billion, whereas population is 8.3. This forest reserve per capita is coming 0.5. So you can see how this forest reserve has drastically decreased 5.5 to 0.5, whereas the population has exploded from 1 billion to 8.3 billion, and that is increasing with a 0.9% growth annually on the globe. The situation is very alarming. We have to take some actions, and United Nations has declared, given a mandate of 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. With these goals, all the policymakers of the world, leaders, scientists, and the United Nations officials have mandated that we have to work for zero hunger, clean environment, clean sustainable development, clean energy, and for that, sustainable management of the resources of the earth with a greater focus on the land management. Sustainable land management is one of the most important aspects of human life to survive on this planet. Let us come to a very alarming situation with the development of industrial era in 1800 itself. We have started consuming fossil fuel, mainly coal and petroleum. It has contributed a lot to the development of the world. The infrastructure have got developed with this industrial endeavor, but by burning this coal, which is contributing 14% of the total coal in steel sector only, you can imagine how this carbon dioxide production is taking place in the world due to fossil fuel burning. The contribution of CO2 to this world environment is making it warmer and warmer, and it is expected that by the end of this 21st century, this temperature rise of the globe will be 2.4 degrees Celsius to 4.6 degrees Celsius if we are continuing at the same pace of consuming the resources as we are consuming now. So it is a challenge before the world how to reduce the fossil fuel consumption so that the contribution of CO2 percentage to this environment should not go beyond the limitation of the Earth planet. We are compelling this environment, we are compelling this planet to breathe more and more carbon dioxide gas, because we have already seen how this drastically we have reduced the forest itself of the earth. Trees are the only consumer of the carbon dioxide gas and giving oxygen, but number of trees are going to reduce day by day. As a result, there is no any living organism of the world which is going to consume this carbon dioxide gas to make and to create oxygen for the living organisms on the earth. So we are compelling this environment, compelling this world and the planets to breathe more and more carbon dioxide gas beyond this limitation. Definitely, we are going to contribute in temperature rising at a greater pace, which is unbearable for the planet. We are making this planet unlivable. Importantly, we have to think about this because this is a greater challenge for future generation. It is not only we that we have to survive on this planet. Rather, our generations have to come. They have to survive also. Our ancestors have given a lot of things to us. What we are going to give our generations, our contribution, our country generation, dirty world, dirty earth, dirty environment, dirty water, no resources. Even we are going to consume this coal, fossil fuel at larger pace. No petroleum will be available in this world after 100 years, after 200 years. If this same pattern of consumption of coal is going to continue, there will be no coal on this world. So after 200 years, devastating situation will be appearing on the earth. There will be no source of energy in the form of fossil fuel. So it is an urgent need that we should go for alternative energy source, and that the world is trying, the policymakers and scientists are trying level best to create this alternative source of energy, and solar energy was one of the alternative source that is a little bit sustainable now in days, but it is not going to serve the purpose as a whole. But this is the only alternative source. Not only that, we have to think how to reduce the carbon footprint, how to decrease the production of carbon dioxide gas on the earth, and the only solution is that we are not going to use more fossil fuel. We have to reduce the consumption of fossil fuel. Even in the United Nations have mandated that this should be closed in the first quarter of this century, that no coal will be burnt, but this is not likely to be very much possible, being the consumption pattern of the whole energy scenario in the world. Moreover, being scientists, being engineers, being policy makers, being educated and intelligence of the world, we people who are very much understanding the fact of this growing temperature due to carbon dioxide gas and greenhouse gases to be contributed. We have to think for environment. If we are not thinking for environment, we are thinking or acting, creating activities which is dangerous and devastating for the coming future generation. That is a sin. We don't have right to give our generations an unlivable planet. We have to contribute in a right way. We have to think in the right way. We have to endeavor such that we may contribute our generations a livable world, a livable planet. The capacity of this planet is going to reduce due to waste generation. We have to go for that. So environmental issues are very, very important on the day of Environment Day. We have to think in a very right direction, in a very right perspective, how to reduce all these things, how to take actions which may make this environment sustainable for this planet, for this world, for the generations to come. Now let us come. I am going to little bit changing the situation of my talk. Steel is very, very important for the infrastructure development in the world. Till date, we have been utilizing, we have been using fossil fuel for production of coal, production of steel. More than 14 to 15% coal is being consumed in steel production. If total production of coal is there in the world, 100 ton, I am giving an example, means 14 ton of that coal is being utilized in production of steel. You can imagine how much carbon dioxide gas is being generated, how much carbon footprint we are leaving this world due to this consumption of fossil fuel in steel production. So Consumer Forum, National Consumer Forum has taken into consideration. The whole world is also thinking into this direction that green steel should be produced. This is a very new concept. Maybe not say that this is no concept. Green means there is no consumption of fuel, fossil fuel. We have to think for alternative source of energy which may be consumed for steel production. And that alternative energy is hydrogen. It is, everybody have, hydrogen in invisible gas. When hydrogen and oxygen combine together, it gives H2O, which may be used as drinking water and other water also. But when H2 and A2 hydrogen is burning, that time a tremendous amount of energy is reaches at delta H. That delta H, that amount of heat can be used as alternative source of energy. In the current scenario, the production of hydrogen as an energy, it is coming costly. The whole world scientists is going to think and they are tracking endeavors. Sweden is the first country where this coal green steel has been produced and they are producing green steel. Our Consumer Forum in India is also destined to take actions. We are taking a lot of actions. We are very much ready that as a part of Viksit Bharat Abhiyan, we should reduce the consumption of fossil fuel. Rather, we want to just reduce, not only reduce, to stop the consumption of fossil fuel and to use this alternative source of energy as hydrogen. So infrastructure development and the coal-based blast furnace should be converted into hydrogen-based blast furnace so that the consumption of carbon dioxide fossil fuel should be reduced, rather minimized to level which is not going to contribute more carbon dioxide gas, and hydrogen as an alternative energy will give a lot of fillip to the reduction of carbon footprint in the world. That will be two-way, serve the country, for the world, for the environment, the whole world and the planet. Mother planet will be very much pleased to listen to our endeavor that we are going to reduce the consumption of carbon fossil fuel in production of steel. So green steel is the only alternative for the whole world. And on the day of this World Environment Day, I'll make an appeal to all who want to make this world, this planet livable, come forward under a flag and under Viksit Bharat Abhiyan 2047. Everybody should take a resolution that we have to put our contribution forth so that the fossil fuel consumption must be reduced and the alternative source of energy, the hydrogen, must be used for that. Whatever endeavor is required, that must be given to, and this will be a great endeavor for the sustainable management of the world, sustainable management of these resources, world resources, and that will be helpful to coming generation. If we use this, if we consume this hydrogen as an alternative source of energy in this steel sector, that will be a breakthrough, that will be a bottom line for other industries, other people to take initiative for using this hydrogen as an alternative source of energy, and that will make this whole environment well, carbon dioxide is free, and expected temperature which is going to increase by 2.4 degree to 2.6 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century, that may be maintained. Otherwise, a time will come that by the end of the 10th century, the temperature will be more than 3 degrees Celsius, and the result is very devastating. Almost all glaciers of Himalayan glaciers will melt down, this sea level, ocean level will go up, and the mega metro cities of the world like Shanghai, London, Jakarta, these bigger cities will be submerged in water. So this is a greater threat for the whole world, that we have to reduce carbon footprint. We have to go for alternative energy source. That is must. That is not only a matter to be thought of, that must be taken to our action. With this my feeling and my words, once again I will appeal all intelligentsia, policymakers, world leaders, corporate sectors, and the people who want to make this planet, to maintain this planet livable. They must come forward and work together, join their hands together to use hydrogen, to endeavor for using hydrogen as alternative source, solar energy as hydrogen source, and to stop fossil fuel as much as possible, as earlier as possible, so that we may save this environment, so may save this, make this, maintain this planet livable. Thank you very much for listening to me. And once again, this is my prayer, this is my appeal to all who can come on this forum. They should come forward to save the environment. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Vishwa, Jai. Thank you very much.